What is up, guys? Fanta here to do my review of Boku no Hero Academia chapter 98. Man, we really needed this chapter. This was a fun chapter that we had got today. A lot of comedy. We got a little bit of seriousness here and there. We got like two serious scenes that I will get into a little bit in this video. But this chapter is basically all of the students getting accustomed to the dorm life. They all moved in, getting their separate rooms. I was surprised that they're getting their separate rooms. I was kind of hoping that they'd get like roommates, but everyone has their own separate room. It's actually really nice too. The whole getup, the setup is nice. The girls are separate, guys are separate. The lounging area you can mix in though. This chapter was really fun. A lot of comedy and something we really needed because Boku no Hero Academia has been really like serious, hardcore lately. It's good to just get a little light chapter every now and then. But of course, with the way this chapter is written, it's like the author wants us to be reminded, oh, don't be fooled. Some big stuff is going to be happening in the future because there is an alternative reason for why these students are being brought into the dorms and to live close to each other. But before I get into that, the comedy. Oh, Mineta, you're the fucking MVP, dude. MVP, my God, you went all like kidnapping stalkerish mode. So that everyone gets set into their room, and they have this little competition about curiousness about how everyone's room looks and how it matches up with their styles. First up, we see Midoriya's freaking nerd all around. He has like All Might all over the place. It's Ochako. She goes into his room and she calls him, and this is a nerd if I've ever seen one. After that, what's funny is that we get to see Tokoyami's room, and he's acting all cool. He's like, oh, how pathetic or how stupid. And they push him aside and they go into his room, and it's like complete gothic, all dark. And he's like, he's got his head slunched down. He's like, oh, fuck you bastards, man. Why do you have to come into my room? It was just so funny. And like, Midoriya thinks it's like, oh, really cool that he has a sword on the side. He was like, oh, that's so cool. But everyone's like, man, it's too dark in here. It's so gothic. But, you know, it matches his character because of what his quirk is. We get other rooms like Laser Boy, the Rock guy. Man, there's so many characters sometimes with these students. It's hard to remember. Right now, they're slipping my mind. And then we get Ida's room. It's all full with like these books, all like nerdy books, and he has like 100 glasses to make sure that whenever they break, he can just bring them the next pair when he's doing his hero's duties. And the girls are having fun going into each one of the boys' rooms, doing comparisons next to their personalities. And then they're like, oh, this is so fun. What room is last? And then we see Mineta in the corner, and he sees like, oh, come here. I have something nice for you. And his eyes are like bulging, and they're all like veining. And they're like, no. And Mineta's like, no, come back. I was like, oh man, Mineta, you screwed yourself over. That shit was funny, but I wanted to see what was in his room. I would have loved to have seen that comedy guy. Oh, that Mineta, I died of laughter with that. He was like, this 2 scenes when Mineta, and he carried the comedy with that because towards the end of the chapter, Mineta's like, hey, isn't it fair that we have to see your room too? And he's like, well, shaking. We have to see the girls' room soon. That's the only way we can make this tournament fair. And then one girl's like, oh, sure, fine. And then the cable girl, damn, man, I gotta remember these names better. She's like, blush, like, what? So basically, the next chapter is about them going into the girls' room to make comparisons on what they're going to be doing. At least that's what I think what the next chapter is. But, so that's about it for the comedy. Died of laughter. Most of it was comedy and good bonding between the students on what dorm life is going to be like. Now we get to the serious parts. Well, the first serious moment was Aizawa. He's giving another speech, or no, more so like a lecture to all the students who showed up at the fight with All Might, who's there giving their support, you know, and he lectures them big time, saying that they disobeyed him. They have lost his trust, and it's gonna take a lot for them to gain back his trust. But they're gonna have to start now when it comes to trust gaining. And here's where you could tell the situation with that Yue is very unique, because he says, if it weren't for All Might retiring, I'd expel you all, in my personal opinion. But since that's not the case, we're keeping you on. I think that he realizes the talent that is in that group that went and snuck off to go help All Might. They can't afford to lose great talent for the future now that All Might is gone. These students are all very powerful and strong. Midoriya, Todoroki, all the great ones. He's letting it slide just because of All Might's retirement. That just shows the dire consequences that All Might and his retirement, the fall or the retirement of the symbol of peace, is having the effect on this school. They're allowing these students who broke the rules to stay on just because how strong they are, and they need the young generation to build up for the future. They can't let these guys go. It would be stupid to do that. So I really like that scene. It really explains the situation that UA is in, the unique situation that UA is in, and it shows that the writer is still showing like, oh, we still have serious moments. Like there's don't get fooled just by this fun chapter. Shit's about to go down in this next arc, because in the next series scene we have the principal talking about what the underlying truth of why we're having everyone come into the dorm with us. And it's to discover the traitor on who was giving out information, who has been helping the villains be successful as they have been, or close to being successful as they have been. They want to see. They're doing their own private investigation. They haven't announced shit. They're trying their best to keep it silent so they don't give the traitor a heads up. But what's interesting to me is that he doesn't just leave out teachers. He also talks about questioning students. So if it were the teacher, who do you guys think would be? After this video, I'm gonna go look over the rest of the staff and see what their quirks are and what their backgrounds is, just to see, so I can give my thoughts on who I think would be the traitor, and the students as well. He talks about, now that we have to question all of our staff members and students. You guys, what do you think is more of the what's more of a truthful factor? A student being a traitor or a staff member? I wouldn't doubt if it was a student, because I think students are a little easier to manipulate and to hold something over their head to get them to give off information. I think I'm gonna put my basket in the student a student being a traitor, but who knows? It could easily be a staff member. But that's what's really interesting, because the fact that the chapter was able to sprinkle in some serious things to remind us that shit's gonna happen. We're getting a good chapter right now, but by no means, on the underlining of this chapter, this is still a very dire situation for UA. But we're able to mix in comedy with it and have a good time with all the students bonding, which shows how dynamic this story is, and I really love about Boku no Hero Academia. Next chapter, I didn't do a live reaction for this one because I had a feeling this was going to be the chapter going to be like this, because it's just a transition period with the students and the dorming, and we got some good story progression, the storytelling, good pacing. Love this chapter. As far as ratings go, I'm going to give it a 4.5 stars out of 5. Love the chapter. Hope you guys have a good day. Fantart out.